Have you ever realized that something you thought was completely normal as a child was actually a sign that something was deeply wrong? When I was growing up, my mother had a special chair at the dining table that nobody else was allowed to sit in. Not me, not my younger brother, not even my father. If someone accidentally took her place, she wouldn't yell or ask them to move. She would simply stand nearby in complete silence until they noticed and got up. To me, it never seemed strange. I assumed every family had little rules like that. One Thanksgiving, my Aunt Denise came over and sat in Mom's chair without realizing it. Mom froze in the kitchen doorway holding a bowl of potatoes while Dad quietly leaned over and whispered something to Aunt Denise. She immediately stood up, laughing awkwardly. "Oops, I forgot about Claire's seat," she joked. Later that night, I overheard her asking Dad in a low voice, "How long has she been like this?" I didn't understand what she meant. Mom had dozens of routines that shaped our entire house. Before every meal, she tapped her fork against her plate exactly 4 times, then she carefully arranged her food so nothing touched. Even spaghetti had to be separated piece by piece from the sauce. She kept her shoes perfectly aligned beside the front door and made sure every can in the pantry faced forward. Towels had to hang evenly. Couch pillows needed to stay centered. The magnets on the refrigerator formed perfectly straight lines. As a kid, I treated it like a game. I warned my friends not to touch certain objects because Mom liked things a special way. My best friend Marcus thought it sounded like secret military rules. I honestly believed every mother had habits that made the whole family adapt around them. One afternoon in 5th grade, I accidentally knocked over a stack of newspapers Mom had arranged carefully on the coffee table. I tried to fix them, but I couldn't remember the exact order. When Mom walked in and saw the uneven pile, she stopped moving completely. Then she slowly sat on the floor beside the table and began rocking back and forth, whispering numbers under her breath while breathing in short shaky gasps. Dad immediately took me out for milkshakes. We stayed away for hours. I remember thinking it was strange that making a mistake somehow earned me ice cream. But Dad barely spoke the entire time, and his eyes looked red like he'd been crying. When I asked if Mom was angry, he quietly told me she just needs things a certain way to feel calm. Years later in college, during a psychology lecture about obsessive-compulsive disorder, everything suddenly clicked into place. The professor described contamination fears, counting rituals, compulsive arranging, and overwhelming anxiety when routines were disrupted. It felt like she was describing my childhood home perfectly. That night I called my father and finally asked the question I had never understood enough to ask before.